Okay, so as always, 3D glasses denote 3D movie. This one is Guardians of the Galaxy. By far, Marvel's absolute funniest film to date. Now, one of the big issues I always had is they constantly refer to as Gamora as one of Thanos' daughters. When technically, she's not. I'm glad they fixed that in the film. They actually do a pretty good job when it comes to giving you all the characters' motivations, keeping their backstories relatively to the comic. You know, they didn't delve super back into the backstory of Drax, but they did get his motivations correct, which I thought was really good. The Nova Corps, I feel like they could have done more with them. I felt like having John C. Reilly and Glenn Close was just, like they got people who are really good to play those roles. They didn't really seem to add a whole lot to the film from that aspect. Some of the special effects, especially in the foregrounds and the set pieces, could have used a little more tweaking. But that's like the only real issue I have at all with the special effects in this. Is sometimes, since they're doing so many flying sequences and action sequences that require heavy amounts of CGI, occasionally moments just seem kind of static on plans. But which would make, I could see that because you've got so many things moving. You've got Star-Lord fighting his way through and getting objects, constantly saving people. They do a fantastic job when it comes to the prison sequence. This movie's probably got one of the best soundtracks of any film, period. Because it's pretty much just all jam band mix songs from like late 70s. Plot, very simple. Star-Lord steals an object. It's something that Ronan wants. Ronan really wants said object. You then find out what said object is, and they do a great job actually explaining that and some of the other previous objects. This film, with being a little over 2 hours, barely has a moment where you have a chance to breathe. It's either great jokes, great little one-liners, or it's just non-stop action. When they showed Thanos, is a Thanos that's kind of in between the look of Ultimate Thanos and the look of regular 616 Thanos. You know, they did a good job when it came to the realization of the face, when it came to the line, when it came to the amount of purpleness to it. But the majority of his armor in this is gold, as opposed to the gold as blue with hints of gold. This is predominantly gold. But looks great. Voice was done well. Really solid job with Ronan. They do some action sequences with him, and he really does come off as this undeniably strong individual when it comes to the Kree. They show the supreme intelligence a little bit. I wish I'd shown that a little bit more, but they did a really good job. They showed supreme intelligence. They showed Ronan talking. I want to say no, it wasn't the supreme intelligence. It was essentially the mouthpiece of Thanos. I thought they were going to show the supreme intelligence, which would have been awesome. But that's kind of hard to show what looks kind of like a seen enemy with a face in a glass jar. But great job when it came to Ronan. Really solid job when it came to Gamora, Rocket, Groot, Star-Lord. Great job. Nebula, really solid job there. Could have had some more screen time. Everyone actually seemed to have a pretty fleshed out character. The nice thing is, there's almost nobody who kind of shows up and they don't do anything with. Everyone kind of gets at least 2 to 3 sequences. So if you're a fan of the other Marvel films, this one, at the same time, doesn't tie into them at all, but ties into all of them. It's going to make any sense at all. So, great to see. Definitely worth seeing in 3D. Lots of action scenes, lots of flying. Done very well. So I'm going to go into some of the little spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the object that they steal is an Infinity Gem. They go to the Collector, and the Collector, who has a bunch of Easter eggs all over the place throughout his little area. They do a really good job when it comes to describing how the Infinity Stones kind of work. And they do show a few of them. If you're at this point in time, the Collector is in control of 2 of them. had they been successful in selling it, he would have been in control of 3 of them. Yes, the Tesseract counts as one, and he does happen to have it. He also got the Aether, which counts as another one. So it does seem like they are slowly moving towards, bringing in the Infinity Stones. Odd thing is, they're towards the end of Phase 2, and they've only discussed 3 stones. I don't know if we're going to see the other 3 stones happen pretty quickly. And of course, the Purple Stone, which they haven't said specifically that it's space or not, is currently sitting at the Nova Corps. And the Nova army itself, for the most part, gets demolished. So they might actually throw in the man called Nova, which would be interesting to see as opposed to the flying ships they had in this one. They do have Cosmo the dog. It has 2 scenes. One scene of the movie, 2 scenes that are in the movie, 1 scene after the movie. So unique to see if they're going to do more with the telepathic Russian dog. It's another post-credit scene. It pretty much shows where the Collector is. His place has been destroyed. Cosmo is there licking his face. So Cosmo would have left during the fight, would have been in the streets during the battle between the Ronan's Kree forces and the Guardians, would have gone back inside. And then they also end with Howard the Duck sitting there having a martini. Howard the Duck being created by the same person who initially created the concept of the Guardians of the Galaxy. In no way, shape, or form I think they're going to do an actual Howard the Duck movie basis off of this. Unless they can do Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies with Howard the Duck would be pretty good. But it was a nice nod, as my wife put it. It was the most pointless scene they've had for a post-credit scene. It was more or less a send-off to the person who created Howard the Duck, who also created Guardians of the Galaxies. If you're really not that concerned about seeing that small sequence, you can type it in now and you will see the still shots of Howard the Duck. Looks kind of rough, but he's had a rough time since this horrible '86 movie.